is up, fellow benchwarmers? Welcome back to another episode of Fantasy Benchwarmers. And again, it's another exciting week. After last week there was a trading frenzy, diba? Last week lang yun. Parang tagal na no? Pero last week lang yun. This week, very interesting rin yung mga nangyari because this week was the start of the free agent signings na hinihintay rin natin which players, although lean ang mga free agents this year, lean yung lineup of free agents, but marami ring very interesting signings na nangyari, especially to some of the teams na contenders na, like the Lakers, the Clippers, yan, yung mga teams. And of course, there are some surprise teams that made surprising moves as well this week. So my name is Jeremy Tan, and kasama pa rin natin your resident commissioner, Mr. Eric Go.
Hello, good evening sa inyo lahat.
Yun, and meron ulit kaming guest today, one of the followers and of course a participant rin. Kung hindi nyo alam, we organized 3 fantasy leagues this year. Actually, 2 lang dapat, kaso nagkaroon ng demand for another one. So, naparami yung gusto sumali. So, we added another league. So, si Earl. Hi, Earl.
Hi. Good evening, everyone.
Yan, si Earl is part of one of the managers dun sa Benchwarmers League, FBW Benchwarmers League. So, it's a no-buy-in league. Pero I'm sure it will be competitive. Kakatapos lang ng draft lottery namin kanina.
Kakaiba yung liga natin, may lottery pa.
Oh. Hindi nga it didn't go as planned kasi mayroong mga plans, pero okay, may mga technical issues pero we'll work on that kasi may 2 leagues pa tayo na pwede natin gawin yung lottery na yan. Yun yung maganda, may lottery tayo. We take this thing seriously, kumbaga. So, sabi ko nga sa kanila, ang rule lang sa league namin, no tanking. Yun na.
Yeah.
Sa play to win.
Yeah.
Enjoy. Yun na, play to win and enjoy. Yun
Have fun lang.
Oh, so yun.
Kami rin beginners lang kami.
Ako,
mahilig lang.
Ako beginners, yan si Eric.
Hindi, beginner lang.
Hindi, we don't call him the commissioner for nothing, di ba? Alright, so let's talk about some of the signings. How did you feel about the free agent signings na nangyari? Were you surprised or hindi ka naman masyadong surprised?
Hindi, ako every year may surprise signings talaga regardless kung mahina or malakas yung free agency class, may surprise signings talaga na hindi mo talaga ma-expect. Pero sobrang bilis kasi this year so parang hindi ka na makareact minsan Every ilang seconds or minutes may bagong signing.
Pero hindi kasing bilis like before.
Pero 2 days lang 2 to 3 days lang.
Ayun, sabagay 2 to 3 days medyo tapos na. 'Di ba? Ikaw, Earl, were you surprised?
Yes, kung difference lang this year was una, yung pagitan ng NBA draft tapos nung sa free agency medyo dikit. So parang hindi siya yung ganun ka, parang it was more tight for the teams to decide parang who to sign up, who halimbawa si Warriors parang after the Clay injury, parang the draft tapos free agency agad. So parang so many things happen.
Oh, so kasi yun nga yung sinasabi ni Eric, medyo limited yung time frame ng mga teams to prepare. 'Di ba? Pero it's part of the process It's part of the yung adjustment that they had to do during the season. So I guess kaya rin naging ganun kabilis yung turnover. Pero like I was saying, unlike before, parang yung signings ngayon mas mabagal. In the sense that at least the announcements, I would think yung signings medyo marami nang pre-agreed dyan I would assume pero yung pag-announce medyo bumagal unlike before. Actually, if you think about it, Anthony Davis hindi pa siya signed technically.
Oo nga.
Yeah. Diba? So ewan ko, may mga rumors pa and what they've been, yung hinihintay nila, pero isa siya sa mga kumbaga, although marami naman nag-expect he would stay, but hinihintay rin siya na officially masign na siya ng ng Lakers.
Ang hinihintay yata kay Davis kasi tinitingnan niya yung si Giannis kung magsasign ng Supermax or hindi. Saka titingnan niya yung lineup ng Lakers. Kung malakas yung lineup, siguro mag-commit siya ng longer years. Kung hindi, gawin niya mas flexible yung deal niya like 1+1 or 2+1.
Oo. Yun yata yung hinihintay kung long term or kung sasabayan niya si LeBron, isa yata yun.
Yeah, parang super team sila.
Diba? So, ano yung mga surprise signings na lang muna for you guys?
Si Earl.
Earl, ikaw.
Siguro I would say yung sa Hawks, Atlanta Hawks. Kasi parang like this year, I mean, they weren't able to perform well. Kasi biglang somehow this year, parang nag-splurge sila. Like they signed up si Rajon Rondo, si Gallinari, si Chris Dunn. Tapos recently lang si Bogdanovic. So parang you can see na they're really investing na to build around kay Trae Young. So yun.
Ikaw, Eric.
Ako yung Harrell. Yun yung signing na medyo out of nowhere for me. Hindi ko talaga in-expect na kukunin siya ng Lakers. Parang hindi ko in-expect na yung price range where he signed was the price range na he will agree. I would have expected a bigger amount longer. Pero I guess he wanted to win. Kasi I heard na in-offer siya na Charlotte ng bigger amount. Pero tinurn down niya. So yun yung biggest.
Isa to sa mga revenge moves ni Harrell sa Clippers. Lakers. Kasi 'di ba isa sa mga players tama. Na nabalita before during the playoffs na didn't get along well with Paul George.
Yeah.
So baka parang isa yun sa mga naging reasons. Actually ako surprised ako sa yun nga, yung Atlanta going parang all in. Although hindi ako surprised that they went all in, pero some of the signings they made, parang mapapaisip ka 'di ba? Parang si Bogdan, would he be of big use talaga considering na meron? I think, I know malaking factor siya, pero ano yung magiging utilization niya with the Hawks, di ba? And we have Gallinari pa there. So parang, hindi ko alam if the team would do well. On paper, parang okay, pero parang hindi ko sure kung how they would do. Although, medyo mahina yung East. So parang I would think na mas gumanda yung chance nila for the playoffs. And si Harrell naman, actually nagulat din ako. Parang sobrang out of nowhere nga di ba? They were trying to, They were trying to sign, was that before the Dwight Howard? Hindi, after si Dwight
After yata. After.
Yeah, after yata. To replace Dwight yata nun.
After, di ba? So, hindi nila nakuha si Dwight and then si Harrell na lang yung kinuha nila. Tama. Ang bilis rin ng mga nangyari nun. And even Dwight had another drama.
Yeah.
Hindi naman sobra.
Hindi naman. Pero, kumbaga, it's not surprising considering na si Dwight yung pinag-uusapan natin. Diba?
Yes.
So let's talk about fantasy naman. Pag-usapan natin, syempre, as we all know, our show is all about fantasy NBA. So pag-usapan naman natin ng fantasy. One of the signings is, let's see kung sino yung mga better fantasy, sino yung mga nag-improve in terms of their value or yung medyo nag-fall out. No? So two of the players na yung isa na pag-usapan natin, which is Harrell, and yung isa was a replacement for Harrell sa Clippers. Actually, magandang signing yan for me nga. Parang, as a Laker fan ka ba, Earl?
Yeah.
Laker fan na naman. So, marami kami nag-get dito na Laker fan As a Laker fan, parang feeling ko, mas gugustuhin ko pa sana yung Serge Ibaka signing Kasi dahil sa defense. Pero who do you think benefits in terms of fantasy value? Si Harrell or si Ibaka? I think before last year, siguro they had almost similar value or medyo close, hindi ganun kalayo yung value nila. Who do you think benefits here more?
I feel ko siya. Okay. Sorry.
Earl, sige muna. Okay lang.
I feel ko honestly, hindi lang basta si Harrell, pero I also look forward kay Dennis Schroeder sa Lakers. Especially since si Rondo umalis na. Tapos parang I can see na parang mas may bigger chance si Schroeder to shine for the Lakers team. Like it can remove si LeBron from ball handling masyado. At least, pwede mag-off ball si LeBron and Dennis Schroeder can do more the ball handling.
Pero kay Harrell and Ibaka, Earl, sinong mas tingin mong magiging fantasy?
If you were to pick between the two,
who would you pick first?
Would you
fantasy
rather
lang
pick?
Fantasy,
Yeah,
hindi sa
siguro
real life.
I'll go for Harrell siguro. Kasi
Harrell
especially
pa rin.
kasi wala na si Javel, wala pa si Dwight. So sa spot na center, at least mas babad siya in a way.
Ikaw, Eric.
Ako, actually, I would go with Harrell din. Tama si Earl. I think kasi the Lakers will probably rest LeBron more this coming season. So, regular season ng fantasy eh. So, Harrell is a regular season player. So, I would choose Harrell. Fit-wise, syempre si Ibaka. Pero, Ibaka will probably have less minutes with the Clippers since...
Talaga?
Hindi, kasi feeling ko he will split time with Zubac eh. Parang ganun yung feeling ko eh. So, si Marcus Morris ang feeling ko mag-start. Although, may rumors na siya ang mag-start sa power forward with Zubac. But ang feeling ko, si Morris ang mag-start. Tapos si Ibaka yung backup for both of the bigs. And okay naman si Ibaka as backup for both of them. But yung system kasi ng Clippers is different from Toronto's system din. Di ba? So, maninibago rin siya. Yung system player kasi si Ibaka eh. So, I think kung head-to-head, lalo na kung head-to-head ang labanan, Harrell ako.
So, medyo nag-boost yung fantasy value ni Harrell.
Actually, feeling ko parehas lang.
Same
lang. Ibaka feeling ko medyo
nag-dip.
A little. A little.
Pero hindi rin ganun kalaki yung... Ang advantage naman ni Ibaka is on the defensive end kasi.
Yeah. The blocks.
Yung blocks, diba? So, pagdating sa fantasy, yung blocks, very rare din yung makuha. Although, over the years, bumaba na rin. Pero last year, he was good. Baga, above average pa rin last year. 2 years ago, medyo nag-dip na eh. Pero last year, medyo gumanda yung defense niya. Pag-usapan natin two more players who were also nagkaroon din ng move. No? So, one is Christian Wood. Actually, medyo surprise ako Christian Wood na hindi siya na-sign ng Detroit kasi he's one of the... Actually, yung Detroit, hindi mo alam anong ginagawa nila. Yung team nila parang naging New York na parang puro centro or power forward na hindi mo alam ano yung magiging roles nila doon. So they let go of Christian Wood. So do you think with Christian Wood in Houston, would flourish considering nandun si James Harden pa rin and Westbrook? Yung fantasy value niya.
For me, actually Christian Wood had the best outcome fantasy-wise from the free agency. For me, whether nandiyan si Harden or i-trade si Harden, i-trade si Westbrook or hindi, wala siyang kaagaw sa minutes sa 4 and 5. Tapos very offensive-minded yung Rockets, so they'll play at a very fast pace. So yung opportunity for Wood to just kahit na stay in the corner, wait for the pass lang nila Harden and nila Westbrook, definitely will be there. So I think of everybody, siya yung pinaka nag-help yung value niya. Probably easily top 30, top 40.
Yeah.
Parang ganun.
Okay. Ikaw, Earl.
Yeah, ako siguro, Siguro for me, the factor lang that would come for Wood is aside from yung sa run and gun ng Rockets, maybe yung si DeMarcus Cousins. Kasi diba parang recently, the Rockets also signed DeMarcus Cousins. So parang, which Cousins will come into play. So parang that's how I can see Christian Wood sa fantasy will come in. Like, si scoring will be there, si rebounding will be there, pero yung which Cousins will be the one are we gonna see sa Rockets. So yun yung nakita kong factor.
Actually, interesting yun kasi yung Cousins, tama ka, yung Cousins na signing ng Houston may play a big role dun sa kung ano man yung magiging role ni Wood. Although, syempre, I would assume na being the younger player and the healthier siguro at this point, mas ma-favor talaga nila si Wood. Also, syempre, siya yung higher valued player in terms of salary and also malamang talagang susulitin nila yung binabayad nila kay Wood. Pero do you think, Eric, magiging malaking factor si Cousins sa fantasy value ni Wood?
Ako, hindi ako ganun kay Cousins eh. As for this coming season, especially coming from, ilang years na ba siya hindi naglalaro? Parang
2 years.
Parang 1.5 na eh. Or 2 years na. Almost 2 years na eh. I don't think na Houston will be able to play him every game, number one. Number two, I don't think he can play 25 minutes a game anymore. Maybe 15 to 20. Parang pang bench na lang eh. Pang score, parang if you need points off the bench, si Cousins. Pero outside of that, feeling ko hindi eh. So, kailangan din naman talaga mag-rest ni Wood. So, I think that would be Cousins' role. 15 minutes, ganun. So, I don't think it will be a big factor.
Hindi makakasira.
Hindi. I don't think so.
But do you think, okay, so ito may comparison na niliste Eric. So, given, if you had the choice, Christian Wood or Robert Covington of the Trailblazers. Covington has always been a 3-and-D guy, pero elite kasi si Covington in terms of the 3-and-D part.
Yeah.
Si Christian Wood, again, maganda yung potential, pero to be honest, we really don't know kung live up niya yung potential na yun. So, who would you rather pick? Christian Wood or Robert Covington? Si Eric, parang alam ko na yung sasagutin yan eh.
Hindi, si Earl na lang. Kasi alam nyo naman yung ano.
Siguro ako, I'll go for Wood. I'll go for Christian Wood. Para I'll take the gamble on kay Wood. Rather, sige, ang risk lang kay Covington is sa Portland. I mean, andun si Lillard, andun si McCollum, as Melo's also there. Then, even sila Nurkic na sign up na. So parang,
malalim.
I don't see yet how they'll fit Covington. Unlike nung sa Rockets pa si Covington, na sure ball na he can play. Pero ngayon sa Portland, parang where does he come? Like, minutes niya, like, ano magiging role niya for the Blazers?
Ikaw.
Pero Earl ba, si Covington, Earl, ano bang feel mo kay Covington? Kasi kami ni Jay, opposite kami dyan kay Covington. Ikaw, medyo may tiwala ka ba dyan kay Covington?
Si Eric, in a vacuum.
Ako, I can see, depende kung ano magiging, it will depend ano magiging role ni Melo dyan eh. If Melo play the 4, tapos mag-3 si Covington or baliktad or siya doon pa si Rodney Hood. So parang where will Covington come into play doon? So that's yun lang medyo kabako kay
may Gary Trent pa sila.
Yeah, may Gary Trent pa na pumutok ng playoff.
Oo. So medyo ako talaga
ikaw,
for
Jay?
me, hindi, Covington, like I said sa last episode, Covington is, I feel, on the decline na rin talaga. Wala na yung mga Philly days niya na sobrang elite nung mga, I think, even yun, like I said, nung Minnesota niya, nung nag-Minnesota siya, medyo bumaba na yung performance niya. So, much more here siguro sa Portland where they really don't need him to be elite. Kasi, ang lalim nga nila eh. Especially on the 3 and 2 spots, yung shooting guard and the small forward spots. So, ewan ko kung si Eric Covington pa rin. Hindi ako makapaniwala kung magko-Covington ka pa rin over Christian Wood. Grabe, hindi ako makapaniwala. Pinag-iisipan mo pa rin.
Ngayon, at this point, hindi, ako dikit. Dati kung hindi na-trade si Wood sa Houston, I would still pick Covington. Pero dahil napunta siya sa Houston, I think kay Wood na ako. Pero hindi rin malaking difference.
Grabe, hindi ako makapaniwala malaking difference.
Hindi kasi si Covington, by the way, sa Yahoo, ano siya, may center eligibility si Covington. Tip ko lang sa mga listeners natin.
Baka naman last year yun.
Hindi. As of now, may center eligibility pa rin siya eh. Power forward center. Kaya yun ang kung ma-continue yung ano na yun, yung eligibility na yun, that will be a big factor for the value of Covington. Actually, kasi lalo na sa two center leagues, big value yun. Kasi may 3 points siya, may steals, may blocks. Mas forward laro niya, but you can play him at center. So big value yun. Yun lang yung only reason kung bakit medyo dikit sila ngayon ni Wood. Pero kung wala siyang center eligibility, kay Wood ako for this season.
Okay. So yun lang. Sige, fair enough. So let's move on to another signing. Actually, a controversial signing in the sense na si Bogdan Bogdanovic was supposed to be traded to the Bucks, pero apparently hindi na natuloy because of some issues that happened na parang baka may tampering issues daw. So apparently hindi na nila tinuloy yon kasi they were under investigation already by the NBA. So si Bogdan eventually ended up with the Atlanta Hawks. So how do you think this benefits? Kasi yung role niya with the Sacramento Kings before was really parang starter role na siya eh. I would think maybe behind the Aaron Fox, siya na yung number 2 guy ng Sacramento noon because na relegate na move back si Buddy Hield to the bench eh, 'di ba? So how do you think this affects Bogdanovic's value sa Atlanta?
For me, it would really affect him a little bit kasi sabi nga ni Earl kanina, they signed a lot of players, 'di ba? Tapos ang dami pa nilang mga batang players na draft the past few years. Of course, nandiyan din si Trey. Too many players na eh. So kahit starter siya, I think yung usage rate ni Bogdan would certainly suffer. Pero I would still think na he's gonna be valuable pa rin this season.
Okay. Carl.
Siguro may concern lang for Bogdan will be kung ano magiging laro ni, kasi like for example, si Trae Young, will he be the two guard or will he be the point guard? Kasi doon na si Don, doon pa si Rondo. So will Rondo play the point guard, si Trae Young off guard, tapos will Bogdan be like the small forward, tapos si Gallinari power forward, or will it be like si Bogdan ang off guard, si Trae Young point guard? Kasi yun yung magiging crucial factor din. Like how will the coach play the yung usage ni Bogdan eh.
So I guess with that, medyo nag-dip talaga yung value ni Bogdan here in Atlanta.
Yeah.
Alright. Sige. Let's talk about teams that that kasi before meron talaga mga teams that you don't want to draft players from, 'di ba? So parang may mga teams like hindi ko alam, pero ako, I rarely draft players from, for example, San Antonio.
Sabi ko na nga, sabihin mo yun. Nahulaan ko na eh.
Sa mga teams na parang hindi enticing yung mga players na ida-draft mo eh.
Dahil din kay Pop. Diba?
Oo, kasi very balanced usually yung usage.
Oo, very balanced.
Last year may na-draft ako si DeJounte. Only because he dropped sobrang layo na. So parang sabi ko, I take my chance na lang on DeJounte. So this year, which teams are nightmare teams that we call? Na parang if they're from that team, most likely I'll stay away from drafting them. Kasi dahil dun sa team na yon.
Hindi, pag-usapan natin yung Detroit muna. Kasi Atlanta na pag-usapan na natin. Diba? Yung Detroit, yung isang na-bring up ko dyan. Dahil sabi nga natin kanina, we don't know what they're doing, to be honest.
Same.
Nung nakita ko yung mga moves nila, it was reminiscent of yung New York last year. Yes. When they lost yung Kevin Durant free agency. Na parang, bakit puro center, bakit puro power forwards tong mga dinadraft nila? Considering na nandiyan pa si Blake, tapos they let go of their, supposedly yung highest potential player na si Wood nga, di ba?
Oo. So, kaya nga, hindi ko alam anong ginagawa ni Detroit. For me, Detroit is the biggest loser kung sa free agency na to for fantasy. I don't know paano yung rotation, sino maglalaro, kasi ang gulo na talaga. Kaya nga, tanong ko sa inyo is, do you think Jeremy Grant will be more valuable than Blake Griffin this year? Like, Earl, do you think he will play more minutes or he will be more valuable than Blake Griffin? Kasi power forward laro niya, power forward si Blake.
Yeah, hindi na scary if Jeremy Grant even slide down to the small forward or not. Parang ligaw ang Detroit ngayon.
Pero sinong mas pipiliin mo? Will you draft first? Blake Griffin or si Jeremy Grant?
Siguro ako, I'll take Griffin na lang. If silang dalawa.
You'll still
Griffin or si Grant. Yeah, kasi parang na-proving ko na si Blake Griffin sa sistema ng Detroit eh. Unlike kay Jeremy Grant, parang may napaka-uncertainty like what will he bring to the table.
Hindi ka takot sa injury ni Blake?
I'll take the risk na siguro kay Blake.
Ako in the first place, I will never draft Blake Griffin.
Hindi nga. Yeah. Kunwari, nasa 70th pick ka na, Blake Griffin, Jeremy Grant nandun. Parehas. Kanino ka susugal?
So mga 6 to 7 round, susugal na ako kay Jeremy Grant.
Over Blake pa rin. So you're gonna pass on Blake.
Kasi una, I think yung main reason kung bakit he signed with Detroit, 'di ba, was to expand yung offensive role niya. Yun yung nabasa ko na parang the reason why he chose Detroit kasi sa Denver he'd probably be the same player. The defensive specialist na type of player with limited offensive role. Although nung playoffs he showed some brilliance on the offensive end. Dito sa Detroit, he would have more roles, bigger roles sa offense. And considering yung defensive upside niya, I think mas maganda yung potential. Plus, Blake is ang tanda na ni Blake tapos sobrang injury prone. So parang
sakit na. Ang lutong na. Tanda na ni Blake.
Hindi, totoo naman 'di ba? Player ko siya 2 years ago yata dun sa isa sa mga yung
31 pa lang si Blake.
Talaga?
Oo.
Yeah.
Bakit yung mga injuries niya parang
matanda na pala yung 31
Yeah.
Parang feeling ko ang tagal na niya naglalaro eh.
Oo. Yun nga. Mukhang matagal na saka ang dami na kasing mga
Ikaw ba?
injuries.
Ikaw, Eric? Feeling ko, kunin mo rin Jeremy Grant eh.
Hindi, kung 70th, parehas kami ni Earl, susugal ako kay Blake. Kasi nga, every year, pero kung
Solid.
30 plus, hindi ko pipick si Blake. Kasi, delikado eh. Pero pag 70th, kung let's say, swerte siya this year at healthy siya, I think he will outperform that draft position.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Actually, solid naman Blake talaga. Injury lang kalaban mo.
Hindi, isa pang thing sa Detroit, 'di ba they drafted Killian Hayes, the rookie. Pero they have Derrick Rose also. So, isa pa 'yon. Ang ano rin 'yan, how would they play Derrick Rose? Isa pang question 'yan.
Yeah.
Oo.
Hindi, itong Detroit, di mo rin alam kung rebuilding team ba to or
Isa pa 'yon.
Yun ang hindi mo masabi. Pero I would assume they will develop tong mga tinignan ko nga yung roster ngayon ng Detroit. Kasi sabi ko, sino na ba yung mga nasa Detroit? And apparently, wala talaga. Baka nga si Dumbuya gumawa pa eh.
Hindi, ang problema si Dumbuya, that's their most promising player, bata nila, young lottery pick nila. Same position kay Jeremy Grant, same position din with Blake Griffin. So, hindi mo alam anong plan talaga, as Jeremy said.
Wala nga sila center eh.
They have Mason Plumlee will be their starting
Bakit
center.
wala pa siya sa roster?
Hindi pa siguro inaayos.
Saka si Jalil Okafor.
Jalil Okafor. Tapos they drafted
nga pala. Bakit wala dito sa roster?
Hindi, isa pa pag-usapan natin kanina yung Atlanta, Earl, di ba? Sinabi natin. Ito, pag-usapan naman natin Atlanta in the sense na si John Collins. Kasi John Collins, di ba, last year, parang late first round value daw siya, no? Nung per average saka nung late the season. Ngayon, will you still trust John Collins to be a first round value? I mean, hindi naman first round as top 5 mga 13, 14, 15, mga ganun.
Or
overall.
anywhere sa first round.
Anywhere sa first round or early second round. Tingin mo, ganun pa rin ba ang value ni John Collins? Tingin nyo?
Siguro, kung ako lang baka I'll not take the risk na.
Same.
Pero surprising kanina pinakita mo sa amin yung dun sa isang group natin yung rankings. Si John Collins was ranked 4th overall.
Yes, overall.
So, I think kasi last year he almost ended up first round value eh. 'Di ba? So I think medyo naging ewan ko, pero yung mga rankings niyan minsan ano rin eh.
Hindi, first ranking pa lang yan eh. First ranking will definitely change pa as you go on. Magbabago yan talaga.
So yun yung medyo challenging with John Collins. Although solid, pero ngayon with so much arsenal, nandiyan si Gallinari, nandiyan na si Capella, maglalaro niya. So baka sobrang laki ng dip doon sa game niya. Especially offensively. I think sa defense, pwede pa, like the blocks. Pero yung other stats niya, yung 3 points or yung points niya scoring, medyo I would think magda-drop talaga.
Dagdagan ko lang yung New York I won't draft any player from New York also.
Ay, ako rin. Mitchell Robinson.
Kahit na si Mitchell Robinson ata kasi yung New York
mo kami sa group chat kanina sabi mo sa group chat pipick mo yon.
Hindi iniisip ko ngayon kasi ang hirap like sa point guard, ilan na point guard nila? They signed Austin Rivers, may Alfred Payton, Dennis Smith Jr., si Tilikina. Tapos Puro point guard. Hindi ko
Wala
maintindihan yung ang gulo ng lineup nila.
Point
So,
guard
stay
and
away
power
din ako.
forwards.
After the free agency signing, stay away pa rin ako sa New York talaga.
Ikaw, Earl. Who in New York would you draft?
Yun. Who in New York would you
Wala
draft?
din.
Julius Randle. Pagbigyan
Si
ka ng
Randle.
mga choices, Julius Randle, Mitchell
RJ
Robinson, RJ Barrett, yun yung mga
Yung
three
tatlo.
players.
Siguro I'll take RJ Barrett na lang. Kung sila lang. Parang
RJ
siya
Barrett.
yung, siguro I'll take the gamble kay RJ Barrett na lang. Parang
Ako-
siya yung mas merong potential.
Ako na-try ko na Julius Randle, medyo disappointing din. I think, depende sa type of roster that I'm building. If big roster yung binibuild ko, I'll take my chances on Mitchell Robinson. Pero definitely not on the second round. Taas yung second round, parang 20th yata siya ngayon. Last year, second round.
May isa pala ako i-draft sa New York. Sabihin ko ba? Hindi, wag na. Hindi, sige.
Sino?
Si Nerlens Noel. Yun.
Isa nila rin Nerlens Noel?
Oo, yun ang sign nila. Big signing nila this year. Considered big na.
Di mas lalo nang mawawalan value si Mitchell Robinson.
Kaya nga, doon na lang ako doon sa backup kasi malamang mapipick mo yan at what? 130? Kaysa kay Mitchell Robinson.
Ay, mataas ang per minute stats ni Nerlens Noel. Isa sa mga highest per minute.
So yun lang. Sa New York, siya lang ang pwedeng kong maisip na i-pick among all of the players.
Pero malayo na.
Malayo, oo.
So another team na yung Fantasy Nightmare.
Oo.
New York, Atlanta. Nakalagay dito Atlanta eh. Do you think Atlanta Fantasy Nightmare for you, Earl? Other than Trey siguro.
Kung nightmare din naman siguro kasi you can pick any players from there, tingin ko lang.
Oo.
Anyone can contribute naman there at any given time.
Depende na lang sa kung anong
position.
round. Draft position. Sige, let's move on to the next pag-usapan natin who do you think are your fantasy winners in this.
Kahit isa lang.
Kahit one or two siguro if may maisip kayo one or two. Fantasy winner for this during this free agent signing.
Early ikaw.
Team or player team or player?
Player.
Ako I look forward to kay Jason kay Tatum.
Okay.
Okay.
Kasi
Bakit
parang
siya?
Sinauna parang di ba before andun si Kyrie Irving, andun si Al Horford, andun sila Gordon Hayward. Parang di siya hindi siya maka all out sa laro niya. Unlike now nung wala na si Hayward, wala sila Kyrie. Kumbaga it's his team na eh. So parang
okay.
Doon makikita parang
ang win
kumbaga
win kay Earl because nawala si Hayward.
Yeah.
Or win ba sa'yo dahil feeling mo may malaking contract na siya so parang mas maging aggressive pa siya lalo?
Yeah, siguro magiging more aggressive. Saka I can see na baka he can be among the top. I can see him maybe among the top 3 leading scorers for the league siguro. Kasi wala nang limitations na. Kumbaga, we'll give you the key to the franchise na. And yun, parang
Interesting yun
Yeah.
So si Tatum mo ba is top 10 this year?
Yeah. I'm considering him among the top 10 din.
Okay.
Medyo,
same.
High din si Tatum kay Eric eh.
Ikaw, Eric. Ikaw muna.
Ikaw muna, naghahanap pa ako eh.
Ako, balik tala ni Earl. Si Earl, pinili niya si Tatum. Ako, pinili ko si Hayward. Kasi feeling ko naman si Hayward na napunta sa Charlotte. Given na yung $120 million contract na absurd. Absurd na siya sa absurd. Pero fantasy-wise, wala na siyang kalaban dun eh. I mean, hindi naman siya bibigyan ng $30 million a year kung hindi siya bibigyan ng all the, sabi nga ni Earl, parang keys to the franchise na rin tong si Hayward eh. Although, syempre, hindi siya kasing galing ni Tatum at this point. Matanda na rin siya. But, wala na pakita si Michael Jordan, di ba? He's the face of the franchise already. So, he's gonna get a lot of usage with Charlotte. He's gonna get a lot of shots. He's gonna handle the ball a lot. And he's gonna play a lot of minutes. So I think Gordon Hayward yung isa sa winners for me.
Actually, agree ako. Isa yun sa mga feeling ko winners dito sa free agent signings kumbaga kasi one is yun nga si si Hayward kasi siya na yung magiging face of Charlotte. And actually, hindi lang face pero baka siya yung maging go-to person go-to guy na ng Charlotte eh. Ang kalaban na naman talaga kay Hayward is the injury. So, pero stats-wise, from the fantasy perspective, baka mapad niya talaga yung mga yung stats. Yung isang winner, hindi ko alam kasi kung lalagay ko to sa winner or mamaya na lang sa sleeper. Sa sleeper ko na lang ilalagay.
Sige. Yung losers
pero winner
na lang
din
tayo.
Winner din for me.
Sa losers na lang muna tayo. Yung mga fantasy losers. Ikaw muna, Je.
Ikaw muna. Hindi ako
si Earl
prepared.
muna.
Wala pang maisip.
Yung mga
losers?
Yung mga talagang na-affect yung fantasy value dahil sa mga free agent signing.
Sino ba? Kaya pumipili ako. Ikaw meron ka na? Ikaw muna ako meron ka na.
Ako, actually, ang naisip ko, hindi exactly fantasy free agent signings eh. Pero I think si Devin Booker is one. Although, you can argue na parang Chris Paul will help him out because he's gonna handle the ball more, he's gonna pass the ball more or whatever. That is in real basketball terms. Pero sa fantasy basketball, he's not gonna have the ball in his hands as much as before. So, bawas yun sa assist niya. Diba? Malaking value ni Booker sa assist eh.
Mm-hmm.
So, yung points niya, I don't know, kung syempre, iba pa rin si Chris Paul over Ricky Rubio eh. So, I think I would have been confident picking Booker in the top 15 before, but with Chris Paul, baka nasa 20 na lang yung naisip ko for him. So, I think Devin Booker would be one of the losers sa free agency na to.
Before we move on to the loser na side ko, isang winner na I feel would also flourish more is si Schroeder sa Lakers. Kasi feeling ko Schroeder would be utilized more. Diba? Considering na sino pa ba yung mga other point guards ng Lakers, diba? He can start, and considering na it's a short break from last season, baka si LeBron would magkaroon ng mas maraming rest. And if nangyari yon, si Schroeder would be there. And over time naman, proven na si Schroeder can pad yung stats eh. So, scoring, assist, or whatever yung kailangan mo sa kanya, he can perform. So, I think big winner siya. Unlike nung nasa Oklahoma siya, daging may question mark na parang behind naman siya kay Chris Paul. Tapos behind pa siya kay SGA sa shooting guard. So I think isang winner si Schroeder in terms of fantasy value. I think umangat yung fantasy value niya. Ikaw, losers, Earl. Teka, wala akong mahanap eh.
Siguro for now, I can't really say kung loser per se. I'm looking at two players eh. Si Oladipo, si Indiana. Taka si Russell ng Minnesota. Especially considering na yung draft, ni Minnesota signed, I got si Anthony Edwards na medyo explosive guard. Tapos si tapos they also have si Ricky Rubio na baka siya pa, depends pa na magiging depth chart ng Minnesota. Will they let Russell play point guard or si Rubio or, we don't know the setup yet. Tapos kay Oladipo naman, I'm not so sure yet na, especially like yung pinakita nila TJ Warren sa bubble. Tapos Sabonis coming out, balik na siya next year. So, parang how will Oladipo's play be, especially from an injury din. So, yung mga concerns ko lang din.
Interesting yun, D'Angelo Russell. Tama nga yun. Correct. Naisip ko rin ngayon ko lang naisip na parang, kasi ang naisip ko na loser doon si Rubio eh. Kasi, naisip ko, baka gawin na lang siyang veteran presence of the bench. So, parang, pero tama ka rin kasi since dalawa silang mag-share dyan, malaki rin na effect kay D'Angelo.
Tsaka si Rubio might just be the locker room leader.
Yeah.
Yun na yung role niya.
Niya. Oo.
So definitely hindi siya mag-start, most likely. Unless mag-start siya sa point guard and then si D'Angelo mag-start sa shooting guard.
Ikaw, Je?
Wala akong maisip na
sa sleeper na lang.
Loser. Sleeper na lang tayo.
Sleeper.
Wala akong naitulong dito sa losers na to. Although
sleeper
naisip
ka.
ko, one person na I feel na would drop in value is si Gallinari.
Oo, yun,
Yeah.
yun. Tama.
So, hindi totally loser, pero I think may value pa rin, pero definitely not as big as yung role niya before. Kasi usually, Gallinari medyo reliable source of rebounds and ngayon, I think rebounds medyo wala na, magdidip ng konti yung scoring niya. So, wala naman siya masyadong defensive stats. So, I think
Actually, interesting, sabihin ko lang for the listeners. Sinabi nung general manager ng Atlanta na they signed him as a backup, si Gallinari,
backup to who?
to Collins. Sabi nila na nung sinign nila siya, they told him straight up na he's coming to be a backup. So alam daw niya yun na hindi siya mag-start with Atlanta.
Grabe,
Although weird kasi 21 million a year to be a backup, but sabi nga niya, medyo go big ng Atlanta, so di ba? Ayun.
Hindi natin actually yun yung mga weird signings ng Atlanta kaya parang hindi mo rin alam if it will work kasi parang weird nga talaga yung combination of the players. Sige, let's go to fantasy sleepers. At least sino yung mga sleepers with these free agent signings? Mauna na ako, may sleeper ako.
Sige, ikaw.
Ano sabihin, hindi ako nag-prepare talaga pero
sino sleeper mo?
Actually, kanina napag-usapan natin siya si Jeremy Grant. Sleeper ko yan.
Gustong-gusto mo kasi kapangalan mo.
Hindi, kasi feeling ko, the way he performed nung playoffs last year, tapos given now na parang wala na siyang masyadong ibang kalaban, Blake na lang, and even si Blake, maybe, most likely will miss some games, diba? So, I think, and sabi nga, ma-highlight siya on the offensive end. So, I think magiging sleeper in this siguro mga 7th round siguro pwede. 7 to 6. Mataas na yung 6 actually, pero I think sleeper ko yun. Earl, ikaw?
Actually, sleeper ko, I can't really choose a particular player from the team, pero from the OKC Thunder, sila Shai, Beasley, and Dort. Kasi parang,
maganda yun.
Especially after na wala almost half ng team, like si Schroeder, si CP3, Gallinari, Adams, sila Nerlens. So parang, si Shai might be the one to shine, even si Beasley. Kasi parang, right now, maybe we're looking at Shai as the number 1 leader, probably. Tapos, parang who will be the front line na ng OKC? Will play sila Beasley, di ba? Parang, it's gonna be parang next man up na yan.
Interesting yan, tama.
Yung huling nabanggit mo, yan, isa sa mga major sleepers yan.
Si Beasley, no?
Oo.
Yeah.
Pero tama si Earl, Oo. Dort, oo.
Kasi si Dort, I remember, nung series sila against Rockets, talagang napakitang gila siya against kay Harden, eh.
Hindi, I think Dort,
team,
of all, si Dort siguro yung may pinaka-lowest fantasy ceiling.
Yeah.
Kasi si Dort is more of a energy guy. Doesn't show up on the stat sheet. Ang problema, yun yung problema kasi pag fantasy, kailangan mag-show up sa stat sheets.
Yeah. Pero si Shai sa kasi busy sila, nakikita ko talaga mag-go all out na to. Kasi parang next man up for OKC. Parang if no one else will perform, sila talaga ang aasahan na.
Maganda yun. Magandang inputs yun. Ikaw, Eric.
Tama. Ako, ang pili ko si Boucher ba? Paano ba sabihin yung pangalan niya? Boucher.
Sa Raptors.
Sa Raptors, si Boucher. I think it's been a tease to everyone last few seasons. Hindi siya nakakuha ng minutes. Pero basta pag may injury ang Raptors, gumagawa yan. Ngayon, nawala na yung dalawang centers nila. So I think they would be
Sino
more
kapalit
willing.
nila? Aaron Baines?
Aaron Baines at si Alex Len. Actually, yung dalawang yan, medyo underrated yan. Medyo injury prone lang.
Yan na naman tayo kay Alex Len.
Pero I believe in Toronto, not in the fantasy setting, in real life, gagawa si Alex Len. Kasi maganda yung medical staff ng Toronto.
Hindi, so, saka si
siya.
Nick Nurse, one of the, if not the best coach in the NBA right now. So, yun. Baka ma-utilize. Pero tama, Boucher, sobrang last year parang, pag basta may injured, pick up kagad Chris Boucher.
Yun.
Alright, so that's all for the free agent signings, no? So before we end the show, meron tayong mailbag question. Diba? First time nangyari. So we have dun sa fantasy page natin, we have this fantasy benchwarmers mailbag. So you could click that link and you'll be directed to a Google form na you can ask us anything. No, ito nag-message nito sa akin eh. Pero wag ko na raw sabihin yung name niya, although nilagay niya yung name niya. So let's keep him anonymous. So ang question niya is, and for the 9th pick, so 9th pick siya in a 14 team. Oo.
Okay. 9th pick, okay.
14 team, 9 cat head-to-head league. Okay, 9 standard, pero 14 teams lang. Okay. Ang iniisip niya, to get Trey or LeBron James, who is a better option? And may possibility rin daw ba na si Curry might still be available on the 9th pick?
Possibility of Curry being the 9th pick, oo naman. Kasi galing siya sa injury.
Yeah.
So, definitely that's possible. Ngayon, kung Trey or LeBron, only because of the situation na LeBron is coming off a very hard, long playoff run. And then, wala pang 2 months yun. I don't think full blast si LeBron sa start or at the end where playoff time ng fantasy, sigurado ako i-rest ng Lakers yan if they have a big lead in the standing. So I would go with Trey. Kung nasa 9th pa si Trey, I would definitely go with Trey. Ewan ko kay Earl.
Siguro ako lang 9th pick, I'll go for LeBron siguro. I mean, to what he can bring to the table kasi I mean, he has points, rebounds, assists. Diba? Yun yung ano ko eh. I mean, kung 9th pick available pa si LeBron, I mean, why not, diba?
Okay, so 9th pick, between Trey and LeBron, I'll go with Trey din. Considering na si LeBron would probably be load managed. Na mas matinding load management siguro yung gagawin kay LeBron this season. Kasi nga, extended playoffs, tapos short rest, short in between seasons, so I would think talagang mas matindi. Plus, they upgraded their rosters, no? So Schroeder can start, Harrell can start, so these players na unlike before na parang pag inalis mo si LeBron, parang wala ka ng scoring options masyado. Ngayon, hindi baliktad parang pag tinanggal mo si LeBron, ang dami mo pa ring scoring options. So I think mas malo-load manage siya, so I'd go for Trey. I'd be surprised though na mag-9th pa si Trey.
Pero it also depend dun kay kay user if he can wait for the season long na yung if he can wait for LeBron, kasi siyempre we're assuming na LeBron will rest at least start or sa end na is he willing to take that risk din. Hindi na mabibigay ko na advice siguro for him.
Yeah.
Kay Curry, kasi right now kay Curry, I think fantasy-wise, he's between 3rd to 5th daw parang based on fantasy. Pero kung sa 9th, if he's available sa 9th, siguro it will depend on the other users from 1 to 8 kung will they take the risk kay Curry. Kasi considering na Curry will always be the scorer, 3-point and assist. Yun yung sure na mabibigay. Pero ang tanong, will picks 1 to 8 take the risk and chances on Stephen Curry? So yun lang.
Actually, pero may possibility, I think may possibility na Curry might be on the 9th pick. Siguro mga popular picks sa 9th, ako pag may mga natira yung mga Jason Tatum, baka maiwan pa yan sa 9th. Pero I
think ang ano mo sa 9th is Tatum, LeBron, Kawhi.
Yan. Yan yung mga players na maabutan mo.
Kahit KD. Dahil sa injury ni KD, definitely it's gonna be available sa 9th. Yan ang mga pagpipilian talaga niya. More of that. I highly doubt really Trey would be there at 9th. But if nandun, well, good for him.
Definitely pwede.
Oo.
Ito yung tanong niya. Second question niya, if I were to pick Trey, assuming na pick niya si Trey, assuming na available dun sa 9th na yun, sino po better second pick to go along with him? Pag stat padder like, sino si WBK?
Si Russell Westbrook.
Russell Westbrook.
Okay, Russell Westbrook. Okay, or Simmons. Or pag scorer like Donovan. Or wing or big man. Pag Trey siya
Ako, next? I'd always like to pair Trey with big man na efficient. Okay, hindi yung big man na Andre Drummond or yung mga tipong bagsak yung
Free throw.
Oo, kasi you have to build
Sino mga players yun?
Sana si Karl Anthony Towns kasi
hindi. Ang maganda dyan, mga
Vucevic.
Kunyari 9th ka, yan, Vucevic, yun nga yung una ko nakita. Or Adebayo, mga ganyan.
Yeah, mga ganun.
Yun. Oo, mga ganun. Two ways naman pwedeng ganun or pwedeng talagang go strengthen the strengths of Trae Young by going with another point guard. Pero sa nakikita ko kasi sa second round, wala akong nakikitang point guard na medyo value for the second round. Maraming bigs or wings sa second round in this season, pero wala masyadong point guard. So I would rather go with the big na medyo, yun nga, kung nandiyan si John Collins, kahit Atlanta parehas yan, for me, perfect yung combo na yan. Collins and Trae Young.
Ikaw, Earl.
Kasi, di ba usually pag first round, siya yung money maker round mo siya yung scorer, kumbaga, siguro, if ever, I'll take a point guard scorer na mga siguro, mga Donovan Mitchell or McCollum or mga Jamal Murray type, if ever they're available pa. Parang, pwedeng insurance policy if ever na lumamig for this game, malamig yung laro ni Trae Young from points, pero assist or free throw, okay. Pero syempre, you still need that your secondary scorer Or siguro if available pa na wing scorer like mga Tatum type, parang yun yung mga pwede nang kunin if ever.
I think Tatum di naabot dyan sa pag 14 team baka hindi na siya umabot dyan sa second round na yan. Pero interesting yung nabanggit mo, narinig mo ba yan, Eric?
Ano?
Yung second round niya can either be Donovan or Jamal. Naalala ko lang yung usapan natin last time na would Jamal be high as Donovan in terms of rankings? So
based sa early projections he is.
Oo, di ba? Sabi sa'yo kasi very maganda yung ginawa niya. Pero to answer the question, I'll take a center. Same kami ni Eric. For the reason that very rare kasi yung centers So pag naubusan ka ng centers on the early rounds, patay ka na sa center position. So kasi dun sa mga later rounds, wala ka na makukuha masyadong quality center that can give really good value. Yun lang yung natutunan ko kasi last year, in one of the leagues, I went small. So parang first pick ko yata si Curry, tapos small ulit yung kinuha ko second round. Pagdating, wala na ako nakuha ang center. Ang nakuha ko na lang sina Bertans, which nag-compliment, pero at that time, hindi ko sure kung anong gagawin ni Bertans kasi very high siya on rankings, pero hindi mo alam kung anong mapoproduce niya. So I would go for a center. Kahit na the second round and the third round, we can go for another guard na magko-complement. So,
saka good pwede siguro yung mga rebounder siguro, like yung mga Bam Adebayo type or mga Towns.
Kumbaga, yung mga Adebayo kasi, you won't hurt you on, kumbaga yung flaws ni Trae, medyo ma-compensate niya ng konti.
Yeah.
Diba? So, okay din yun. Plus, good outside shooting, may rebounds, may assists, diba? So, at least complementary yung assist part, diba? Okay, yung last question na sasagutin natin kasi marami siyang questions, pero yung other questions, we'll answer it on the other episodes. If I were to get LBJ, sino naman ang better option next? Adebayo, Westbrook, or Simmons? Medyo favorite niyo tong Westbrook or Simmons, ha? Who's better to pair with LeBron?
Ang maganda kasi kay LeBron, yung stats ni LeBron naman all around.
Yeah.
Ang mahina kay LeBron is free throw and 3 points. And I don't think adding LeBron with Ben Simmons would be helping you. Kasi dalawang categories agad ang papunt mo dun 3 points, free throws. Actually, kahit turnovers, magiging kahit si Westbrook din actually ganun din Sino yung isang choice?
Westbrook, Simmons, Adebayo.
I guess I'll go with Adebayo. Kung yung tatlong choice niya, I'll go with Adebayo.
Yeah.
Oo.
Ikaw,
Earl.
Yes, same din. I'll go with Adebayo. Kasi parang LeBron equals to Westbrook and Simmons I mean, what they can bring to the table Diba? I mean, you're getting points, you're getting rebounds, you're getting assists. Pero,
you're getting a clone.
Ganun din.
Ganun din.
Times 2 ko lang. Siguro if may available na a shooter maybe or a point guard na scorer, yun, I'll get that. Pero, bakit if limited to the 3 lang ang bibigyan ng choices, I'll go with Bam.
Mga Kyrie, dapat.
Actually, Bradley Beal perfect sa kanya kasi walang scoring with 3-point shooting.
Pero baka hindi na umabot Bradley Beal.
Hindi, baka
kasi kung 9th siya, di pang ilan siya sa 8th?
Baka 15. Kung 12-team league, di ba?
14 eh.
14-team league.
Oh, so mga 7 to 8 picks pa.
Oo.
Bago siya ulit. Baka wala na yun.
Wala na.
So, Adebayo, I think perfect. Vucevic, pwede ba?
Pwede.
Pwede rin.
Pwede.
So, Vucevic medyo underrated kasi hindi siya underrated under the radar lagi siya
Pero kailangan ng tip natin sa kanya, if he's gonna go with Vucevic or kahit si Simmons, Adebayo, or kahit sino man yung choice niya for the second pick, kailangan niya talagang mag-shore up ng 3-point shooting in the later rounds kasi magiging behind siya talaga Kung yun ang first 2 picks niya, magiging behind siya.
If available din si Nikola Jokic and Nuggets,
second round baka malabo na.
Yeah, depends on sino pa yung depende kung sino makukuha ng mga ni 1 to 8 or ni
Actually, ito hindi ko alam kung might drop. Nurkic
will drop.
Yeah.
So, good pair ba yan with LeBron?
I think.
Or Butler actually. Pwede rin Jimmy Butler.
Jimmy Butler, dalawang injury risk ka nun kasi dalawang pagod yan LeBron and Butler.
Maximum usage.
Maximum usage yung dalawa Si Nurkic siguro pwede. I would choose Nurkic over Vucevic actually kung ako yung pipili. Kasi mas may assist si Nurkic
Saka yung defensive stats niya
So Nurkic is okay.
Elite ang defensive stats ni Nurkic Okay, so kung sino man yung nagtanong noon, hopefully nakatulong kami. Salamat. First questions. I hope madagdag yung mga ibang questions mo, hindi namin sinagot kasi we'll answer them may mga planned episodes for those. So we'll answer them in the other episodes na lang. So yun. So for those na merong questions about NBA fantasy, now's the perfect time to ask them. So just message or click on the link dun sa Facebook page namin and mag-throw in lang kayo ng mga questions doon and we'll answer them in some of our episodes. Diba? So, yun. Malapit na. Less than 1 month to go before the season starts. I'm sure ngayon marami nang nagpe-prepare doing mock draft. Sabi ni Earl kanina, magma-mock draft na raw siya kasi kaka-draft lottery lang. So, I'm sure marami na rin gumagawa niyan. And we hope that you enjoy the season. I'm sure exciting tong season na to. So I hope you enjoy the season. And yun, we'll see you on the next episode. Hope you like this. Hope nakatulong tong episode na to. And we'll see you on the next episode of Fantasy Benchwarmers. By the way, thank you pala sa mga nag-support, sumali sa 3 leagues natin. We'll try our best to make it fun for everyone. And we'll try our best to, do it in a very fair and fun manner, diba? So hopefully, like si Earl, hopefully nag-enjoy ka sa lottery kanina, diba? Yun, thanks for supporting and we'll see you on the next episode of Fantasy Benchwarmers. Goodbye!
Bye!